What's up? I'm Tristan. If you own a small business, you are for sure committing at least one of these 7 deadly sins in your business. You have lust, sloth, envy, gluttony, greed, wrath, and pride. Let's figure out what they mean and how they apply to your business, and then how to fix it. Let's get into it. Imagine you're married, you're committed to your woman, you go to a bar, you walking around with your friends, and then you see it. This woman in a sexy red dress walks right past you, and you start thinking about all the problems that's going on in your marriage and how the grass is always greener on the other side, and that if you just get with this woman, all your problems will go away and it'll be so much easier. That's exactly how you think about business. You think just because you're having problems in your business that this sexier business online that some guy on YouTube is talking about is gonna be so much easier because he has it all figured out and there's no obstacles in his business and his business is perfect. Well, that's not the case. Every single business goes through the same cycle. You first have uninformed optimism. That's the lady in the red dress where you think it's gonna be so easy and so fun. Then you go down the cycle into informed pessimism, and then you're like, crap, all these obstacles suck and I hate it. And then you reach the bare bottom, which is when you really start to look at all the sexiness in other people's businesses, which is valley of despair, where you're like, holy crap, this sucks. I can't wait to get out of this and into the next big opportunity. But then if you can just push right on past that, that's where you have informed optimism. You see the way out, you see the light, you see exactly what the obstacles are and exactly what you have to do to overcome it. It's still gonna suck, but you see exactly what you have to do. And then you get to the top, which is achievement. You've made it. You've made it past that cycle and you realize how sexy your marriage actually is and how sexy your business actually is. The second deadly sin of business. These guys are entrepreneurs. All they talk about is all this business they're gonna start and how they're gonna start it, what they're planning and how they're working on it right now. They're trying their best, they're thinking about the possibilities and they're analyzing all the capabilities for their, get out of here, dude. They're doing nothing with their life, nothing at all, nothing in their business. They're not even starting nothing. All these guys talk about is how they want to be an entrepreneur. They're not actually doing anything. They're not looking for clients. They're not testing the concept. They're not talking. They're not getting feedback. They're not asking mentors. They're doing nothing. These guys are so bad that they're time blocking their day, but they end up watching anime. You can't get them to do anything at all. Jimmy Collins is probably somebody you never heard of, but helped grow the Chick-fil-A brand to what it is today. He said, it's easier to restrain a Mustang than it is to kick a mule. Meaning, you can't get lazy people to do nothing. You can't push them to be better than they already are. But you can get a Mustang to slow down, think about their steps, to plan and strategize. The lazy people, the mules, they're not gonna do nothing. You gotta drag them along. They don't have any passion or energy about nothing. One of my favorite speeches ever is by Art Williams. He has a whole speech, it's called Do It. The final 2 minutes is him just talking about these people that want to go do something or how they're achieving something, and he keeps replying with,
you just do it.
So how do you fix these people? You can't. You have to realize in yourself that that's you, and that used to be me. I used to do that all the time. Last year, this same time of year, I was doing nothing. I would wake up way past whenever I said I was gonna wake up. I would cook breakfast for several hours and do nothing. During the time I was supposed to be looking for clients, I did nothing. I watched YouTube videos about how to be a real estate agent. I did nothing. It wasn't until I accepted in my heart that I was doing nothing that I could say, all right, I'm gonna schedule this time to talk to clients, this time to educate myself, this time to work on my business, and I started really segmenting my day. But it started with waking up at the right time, going to bed at the right time, and being disciplined. It's just discipline. The people that commit sloth lack discipline. The third deadly sin of business is envy. If this is you, you're always looking at your best friend or the person on Instagram, the person on social media that has this business in the same industry as you, but better and bigger and sexier. Oh, he's so much better than me. He's so much more talented. He was born like that. That's just his personality. That's you. That's literally you. You sound like that looking at someone on Instagram and you have no clue what's going on behind the scenes. Just focus on your own lane, keep on running. Have you ever noticed that in the Olympics, the sprinters are never checking out where their competition is at? They're looking at the finish line, sprinting as fast as they can. That needs to be you. I promise you, you cannot win if all you're doing is looking left and right, trying to run straight. You just got to keep looking straight and running straight. With enough hard work, enough grit, enough determination and perseverance, I promise you'll get there. And so what if he has a better business or a bigger business or more sales and a better car or better house? It doesn't matter, because you know you're trying your absolute hardest. You're cold calling as much as you can. You're door knocking as much as you can. You're genuinely putting in as much effort as possible. Number 4. Is this the right spot? No, a little bit more? Here. There are 3 types of gluttons we're gonna cover. The first one we're gonna name John, the second one George, and the third one Jim. John is gonna go into debt for everything. He's gonna think of an idea, he's not even gonna know if it's gonna work out, and he's gonna go in lots of debt for it. And when it fails, not only does he have to admit defeat, but his failure is magnified because he still has to pay down the debt of the defeat. Instead of using the cash flow from his business to try certain things and invest in something that could or could not work out, he uses debt. He's a glutton because he spends too much. Now George is a bad one. He's not as bad as John, but George just wasn't taught right. George gets money and spends it. He gets a paycheck, spends it. He gets a commission check, he spends it. He has no real plan on how to spend his money. He does not budget. He does not tell his money where to go. He gets the money, he reacts to the money, and then spends it. He does not proactively decide where that money's gonna go. He just gets it, spends it, gets it, spends it. Now George is also a glutton because he also spends too much. Now Jim, he's the worst one of them all, because Jim buys things he doesn't need with money he doesn't have to impress people he doesn't even like. He's going to be the type of guy that has the nice car, the nice house, the nice equipment set up, the nice everything, when really that's not even what his business needs. His business needs something super simple, maybe something used. He can drive a Toyota Camry for now and live in a mobile home. He's the one that likes to look good on the outside, but is really poor on the inside. So how do you not become a glutton? The only way to not become a glutton is to always, after every single paycheck, save some money. It's called retained earnings. You want to put it in a little bitty bank account that if anything ever happens to the business, you need an emergency fund, you got to get through slow times, you draw from this little fund. Or let's say a phenomenal opportunity comes along your way, then you can have the cash to buy that opportunity, whatever it is. Greed. These guys are going to decrease the quality of their product. They're going to decrease their customer service just for more profit from their customers. They're also not going to pay their employees nearly as much as they should. And when given the opportunity to be generous and to give, they're not going to take it. They're going to care about how much money they have in their wallet because that's all that matters to them. And some people are actually greedy without them knowing it, in this sense of it being a sin. They're greedy. When they could spend $5 and get a very nice sign that's going to make their brand and company look very, very good and elegant and classy, they're going to spend $1 because it's the bare minimum and that's all they have to spend to get a sign. But it's cheap and that means more profit for them, right? If you just spend a little bit more, people are going to look at your brand to be a lot better, a lot nicer, and they might spend more with you. Greed is an easy one to overcome if you think long-term, because if you decrease the quality of your product, yes, you'll make more profit immediately, but eventually you'll have no customers. If you don't pay your people well, that's awesome because you'll make a lot of money real quick, but you'll have less people to help you out later when your business grows. For example, your car. You could choose not to get the oil changed or to not get it aligned or change the tires because it costs money. But if you invest into it, spend the money necessary to do it, and pay a professional to do it for you so that it's done right, then it'll last you so much longer. Wrap. Business is actually super simple until there's obstacles. It's real easy to run when everything's going good. It's real easy to have a good mentality when everything's going good, you're making a ton of money. But what happens when you get to that bottleneck, or there's an obstacle, or a customer fires you, or one of your best employees quits, or all these different ors. There's so many different scenarios and things that could go wrong in the business, and you get so angry and fed up and emotionally you start to hate it and you start to have wrath because it really pisses you off. That's the exact problem, is you're seeing it as obstacles rather than the path to success. I can guarantee you that none of the CEOs who are worth billions of dollars had this super easy straight path. They had to go through these jaggeds and overcome these hurdles and jump over these obstacles just to make it work. They had to get creative. They had to figure out what was wrong. They had to ask people questions and get mentorship so that they could be better. If you don't want any obstacles, then go get a W-2 job. The W-2 job will have exactly what you need to do and they'll have tasks lined up and you just do the tasks. But if you want to make serious money where your income is not capped, then you'll have to overcome these obstacles to get better. Numbers. I got it from here, big dog. Pride. These entrepreneurs think that they're better than everyone else, and that's me. Now I'm being vulnerable. This is literally Tristen Adams. I always have this superiority complex where I feel like I'm better than everyone else and I'm smarter than everyone else, and I have to calm myself down and I have to humble myself and realize that I really only got here because God blessed me with the right opportunities at the right time by doing the right hard work. It was just perfect timing, and I really would not be here without him. And so after I calm myself down and I realize that it's not me, then I can continue working and listen to other people's advice and their mentorship. Before that, if I don't do that, then I'm always better than someone else. That means I have nothing to learn from you. That means you can't do me any good, and it's a waste of my time to even associate with you. Now, I try not to let any of that actually come out and be external, but it is an internal fight that I have every single day, that I have to address myself. I have to check myself at all times because it's so easy for me to address this sin specific. So it's very hypocritical for me to say it's my least favorite sin, but it's not, because it's the one that I deal with the most. So for you, if this is you, it's very, very hard to know if it's you and be self-aware enough if it's you. But if you can admit to yourself that it is, then you have to realize that you can learn something from everyone. Even if they're just beginning in the same industry that you're in, they probably think a little different than you, or they have a different perspective because they joined your industry at a different time than you, or they work a different way, or they get leads differently. Like, there's always something you can learn from someone else. And the second you realize that there isn't, then there's no growth, there's no way for you to be better, and there's no upward trajectory. How I overcome the deadly sin of pride is by reaching out to people in my industry. I want a mentor. I always have a mentor. And honestly, I just have a lot of business conversations. If someone owns a business, I try to talk to them about every detail that they'll allow me to hear about their business, because I'm like super interested in it. I just genuinely like it, but it helps me understand business more and have better business acumen. Ultimately, if you can overcome pride, you can overcome any of these other sins and be better in your business, make more money. And that's the end of the video. My name's Tristen. I'm out.